welcome to How I Spent the Apocalypse, Treehouse Edition. Yes, we're still working on the treehouse. I'm 62 years old. What did you do in the last 6 months? Anyway, so I want to build a urinal for the treehouse so that you don't have to run down every time you have to pee. Because if you're staying up there, that would be a nightmare. Now, is it going to be all private? No. But hopefully nobody's down really working on seeing you pee, because what kind of sicko are they? But at any rate, but it's a treehouse. We have limited space. So what I want to do is, I want to build the urinal under this chair. Okay? So this chair will give us some place to sit in the treehouse, and when I get done, you'll lift up this part of the seat, and underneath it will be the urinal. I call it a urinal, even though it's mostly for us old chicks, because you're just going to pee in it. In fact, on the underneath side of this, I'm going to put a sign that says, $500 fine for shitting in this urinal. Because who wants to clean up that mess? Alright, so the first thing I have to do is take the legs off. So I'm going to turn it over. And I'm also going to take into account this angle, because when I put it up, I need to get that angle. Okay, so I have a reciprocating saw. There it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is saw the legs off. And I'll let, so just, and I need them to be as even to the bottom as possible, because when I build the base for this, I don't need to have to worry about where the leg pieces are sticking out. Okay, so it's just, we're going to take the legs and probably take them up to the treehouse so I can keep measuring to see how it's going to come out. Because underneath this, I'm going to build a box. But it needs to be this height, and it needs to be on that same angle so it's actually a comfortable chair. Because it'll be like the only chair in there. No, there'll be one more, but yeah. It'll be the only chair in there. And what did I do? I've hit a nail. Now, fortunately, this is supposed to be a wood and nail thing, so we'll hope. Hear that, the change in the noise? It's hit metal.
And the smoke that it's emitting, it looked like smoke.
It is smoke. That's from the wood. It's burning through the wood. Why? Because this is hard wood. Again, I've hit whatever metal is in there, I've hit it again. Right there, some kind of something I can't make out.
It was a screw.
Yep. There you go.
I zoomed in with the camera.
Alright.
I zoomed in with the camera and I saw it. You could see the screw head clearly on the video.
Well, it's nice that somebody could see it, because I'm blind so bad I couldn't see it. So there's the legs. Alright. So, I'm going to have him turn it off, and then we'll come back. I'm going to use my grinding wheel to take these off flat. So I'll get I'll put my sanding disc on my angle grinder, and I'll sand those all the way down flat. Get a picture of yourself, Zeb, so they can see your pretty face.
Whee!
Yay, there he is. He's our cameraman for today, because as you can see, why are we doing this project instead of what I want to do? Look out there. See that? It's pouring rain. We're supposed to get 2 inches of rain today. And as you know, Lynn doesn't like to get out when it's wet or cold or anything weather related. Okay, so we'll see you again in a minute. Before you change the wheel on your angle grinder, take your battery pack off and or unplug it from the wall. Don't try to change the head with it fully powered. Okay, so take that off. Now I'm going to change the head out. Now, that's a metal wheel. You can't use a metal wheel on that. The best thing are the flap discs. These are cheap flap discs. It's nice because you can get a bunch of them. They don't last for the shit. The more expensive, like that's a DeWalt blade for a reason. When I bought the cheap metal blades, you can get like maybe 3 cuts out of them and that's it. You buy a DeWalt, it works up until it's gone. So It's actually, that's a product thing. Normally I don't do that because I'm whatever's cheapest, that's what I want. But when it comes to things like blades and stuff, you're better off spending a little bit of money. I know I had the bag for that freaking tool. Never mind. What'd you do with it, Zeb? Okay, so that's a flap disc. This is a brand new one. These are super cheap though, and it may last through this job. And again, you're not really saving money. So I will not do that again. Next time I buy flap discs, I will buy some good ones. Plus, my son gave me some really good ones for Hanukkah. So, my son the genius. Zeb's dad. So, in case you don't know how to change one, that's how you change it. And like I said, found out the hard way that getting the cheaper blades, really you're not saving any money. And then you just don't do it too tight. I've ruined them doing them too tight. Okay, so once the flap disc is on, once you've changed it out, just put that back in. And then we're just going to sand these off clean. You can see the spots? That's where that screw is. As you can see, it does a pretty quick job of it. Okay, so I'm going to have him turn the camera off again while I do this, because how boring is it to sit and watch me sand something for 15 minutes. Alright, so this big oil filter, that's going to be basically the basin for our urinal. I think I paid $8 for it. So, lots cheaper than something you would buy for the same purpose. Okay, so I put it on here and I kind of see, I want as much room as possible to wiggle room. So I measured down from the holes in the back so that I don't accidentally cut into my legs. And I ran a line with a straight edge. And I had to miss that screw there because that will fuck up my blade. Now I have to put this on something so I can cut it with a skill saw. So probably going to clear this area off and clamp it on there. What do you think, Zeb?
Sure. I don't know.
Where's your confidence, man?
Yes.
Okay, let's try again. Okay, I think we'll clear this off and fasten that there. What do you think, Zeb?
Seems like a great idea.
There you go. Okay, much better. Okay, we'll see you in a minute. All right, so got this all stuff. Now, I'm going to run this skill saw. Ever since I almost cut off one of my thumbs with the skill saw, I try to make sure that my wood, because what I was doing was I was trying to cut backwards with my left hand backwards and was holding it with my other hand, and it kicked back because my left hand wasn't as strong. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's the start of it. It went all the way over here. I have like weird nerves all the way up. So, from now on, I try to clamp everything really good. So I've got it all clamped down. Now, what's funny is this little bench here in the corner that's so held for stout, my son the genius built that for Zeb when he was little so that he could work on stuff while Meyer was working in the shop. So this was actually Zeb's workbench. Okay, are we ready?
Yep.
Alright! So I ruined a perfectly good chair! That's what you're saying. Why are you close up?
Because I felt like it.
Get better! Your artistic talent? Is that what it is? Your artistic stuff?
Yeah, it's my artisticness.
So, now I ruined a perfectly good chair. But,
why'd you do that?
okay, so, because I'm building something. Okay, the
What are you
chairs,
building?
this was a set of chairs that Steve gave me. And Mother's got a bunch of them at her house, which nobody lives there but Anthony now, so. But the rest of them are here. This was one of the worst ones. It had taken a bunch of damage and stuff. But it doesn't matter because when I get done, it's actually going to be a chair. Okay? So now, what am I going to do? I made a mess. Okay, I'm getting ready to take that, like that. I'm going to hinge it. I'm going to have to put a magnet on this so that when you pick it up, it actually stays. But at any rate, that's easy. But you say, well, hinges and stuff, that's not going to be a comfortable chair. We're going to make a cushion for it. You'll have to take the cushion off when you use it. Okay, so these are the hinges I want to use. Obviously, they will not work like that. Where did these come from? Tony's Chicken House. It's from Tony's Chicken Run. He had those wrapped around the PVC. Do you remember that? Okay, nope. So I need to flatten them out. So I've gone to the blacksmith shop. I don't have to heat them to flatten them, by the way, in case anybody's going, oh, she's going to fire up the forge. No, it would be more expensive to do that, to fire up the forge, than it would be to buy a new freaking, yeah, that thing, a new hinge. Because you would waste too much coal. And you don't need to. Okay, so I'm going to just put that on my my little makeshift anvil there, made out of a piece of old railroad iron.
It's called the make shit anvil. It helps you make shit.
Fixed.
It's called the make shit anvil because it helps you make shit, right?
Good job, baby. But yeah, so you can see, okay, so there's one. And I don't know if you can see, but see there's paint on that hinge. Do you know what that tells me? That tells me that Tony had already recycled these. So once again, we're repurposing what was repurposed again.
Wow, this thing can zoom in really far.
And there, see? That didn't take very long, did it?
Nope.
Yay! And you're like, I couldn't do that. I don't have a blacksmith shop. I don't have a makeshift handle. I don't have fucking vice. You could do the same thing if you had a piece of wood and you put it someplace sturdy, or a block, or a piece of concrete. You could do the same thing. And any hammer will work. You don't need a ball peen.
Ball pins are just...
So the next step is to screw these hinges on here so that we can lift the seat. And then this will be the top of the fucking, this will be just like your regular toilet seat. Okay, I don't have any short screws that are wood screws. Well, I probably do, but I'd have to go over to the other house and go through shit. And as we know, I'm too lazy for that. So what I'm going to try to do is try to pilot the holes for what I do have. Oh, that's not even the right size freaking bit. And let's get on the rant for that. Again, I hate the fact that it's not one size fits all with these freaking screws. Because talk about a gimmick, make you buy 4 billion bits. Meanwhile, I have an entire box of bit and none of them are working.
Except for this one.
No, it's not one. Okay, so, at any rate, if I can make it work, if I can find the right freaking bit, good luck with that. If I can find the right bit, I will try to pilot that into it so that I actually have something to screw. Because what I have a bazillion of is self-tapping metal screws. Self-tapping metal screws will not just naturally go in to freaking maple. Maple's hard. It just won't do it.
Metal's hard.
Yes, but okay. But see how this end is scooped out? That's for eating into metal. It does not eat into the wood. It burns. So, yeah.
That's no fun.
Okay, so, are we on?
Yep.
Now I have to admit where the bit was. I couldn't find it in the container. Do you know why? Because it was in my freaking pocket. That's why. It was in my freaking pocket with the fucking screws, so I blame you. There you go. Okay, so let's see if it's going to work. Okay, so what I should be able to do is pilot this in. Pull it back out. And then change heads and hopefully get one of these in. Because I have boxes of these. And like I said, I probably have wood screws, but I'd have to go look for them.
And looking is too much work.
Well, I'd have to walk in the rain, in the mud, in the puddles, all the way to the other house, because that's where they would be. So let's see if this works. Come on, you fucker. That ain't worth that shit. It didn't work. It didn't work. I blame Zeb.
Why me?
I don't know, because you're here. Okay, turn it
Fair
off. Okay, so we actually found some wood screws that had a Phillip head top. It would not go into the maple. And we just cracked the damn board. So there's that. So, yes, I'm starting to get pissed. So I'm going to have to pilot all these holes. So, in order to keep the wood from cracking. That's the problem with hardwoods. The problem with hardwoods is that hardwoods are brittle as fuck. So, thank God I did bring my freaking drill. Because I'm going to need it. And that's the problem, people, that people don't think about. Everything you do winds up taking twice as long when you're working with garbage. Because it's like nobody's ever done it before and there is no book. So you're constantly with what works. Well, what I know about hardwoods is that if you pre-drill the holes, it doesn't crack them. So even though it's a ginormous pain in the ass, I'm going to have to pre-drill every single hole for this to work. So here we go. And you don't have to watch me pre-drill the holes. We're good, Zeb. All right, so we couldn't even use Phillips head screws because they wouldn't go in. So we wound up using the hex heads, and I had to pre-drill all the holes because while I was trying to just put the hex heads in, I got a minute crack here. So I had to literally move the hinge from where I originally intended it so that it straddles the crack. Now, when I get the bases done that this is going on, this back part will be screwed to a 2x4. So it's going to be sturdy. Okay, but in the meantime, as you can see, those screws were too long. So, yay. But what I'm getting ready to do is get Mr. It just makes it, yeah, it just makes life easier if you clamp shit. I mean, Zeb could stand there and hold it, but it just makes it easier if you clamp it. Okay, so now what I'm going to have to do is cut all those off. But before I do that, I just realized I don't want to do that because changing the head is a bitch. So first thing I'm going to do is sand the motherfucker. So I'm going to sand it so it'll take paint. Okay, so I've still got the sanding disc on there. Before I change it back to the metal disc to cut those screws off, I'm going to go ahead and sand it down. Why am I sanding it? Because I'm going to knock enough of the varnish off that it'll take paint. Because, you know, the varnish that's on there is not any good. You don't have to strip it. All you got to do is rough it up so that it'll take the paint. You know, a lot of people that go to all the trouble to strip it all the way off. Okay. Oh, up she rises. Okay, so I'm cutting strips of it. Just coarse grain sandpaper. Because if you're going to sand it, you might as well get something that's going to take something off. Okay, now these little things like this, these can be a bitch to try to sand, even if you're just doing it like I am and you're doing a half-assed job. So what I'm going to do is, you take this sandpaper and you can go like this. It'd be easier if I clamped it. I'll clamp it in a minute. But there you can see, you can just, after you look at the front, you've got a nice rough surface that'll hold paint. See? Yeah, so it's like, let's see if I can get, let me clamp it. Kind of show them.
No, I'm not gonna let you clamp it. It's forbidden.
Clamp it, you can clamp it. Right? Jed, clamp it, you can clamp it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say put 2 clamps on there. It's a little bit wobbly.
Well, it's not going to work on that part because I got a hole there.
Yes.
So I'll just do it on that part. Now it'll hold it. See? And it's that simple. So you're just trying to get the surface. Even if you were trying to sand it all the way down to the paint, this would work for that too. And it's an easy trick when it doesn't break in half.
Sander. Heart sander.
But you're just basically roughing that up to take the paint, and it doesn't have to be anything special. When you get done, it's not going to show anyway. It's going to be painted. And I'm not even dicking with the back, because the back is going to be against a wall. So it's not even going to show, which is good, because see that? That's an old chair. That is people grease. See? That's what happens when you have a chair a long time. Everybody picks it up, and it gets people grease on it. Doors do too. In fact, my dad, when he used to antique stuff to make it look old, he used to purposely get brown paint, and he would put it where you would grab and make people juice. So, yeah. So that's another piece to the puzzle, people.
And
So I got in. All right. So as you can see, that came right out the bottom. So now I'm going to cut them off. So it'd be nice if they were flat at the hood.
yeah.
Watch your eyeballs there, dude.
Ow. Ow. Ow.
Huh?
I'm being
Go
showered.
over there. Or turn this camera off. They don't need to rush you, knock all of them off.
You get the gist.
So now that's done, we're going to clean it off, we're going to paint it, we're going to leave it alone. And you won't see it again until it's finished. No, because you know, Lynn will be doing the camera then. Okay, so for right now, I'm signing off for the day. Bye-bye!